Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only Zebec network coin, right? I've seen some people talk about it recently. I've seen some hype. I've seen the volume, rise, the price rise. The price rise. Yes, this coin is actually a prize, probably like a little bit of a hidden gem in a way. But look, I wanted to cover mainly the technical analysis, right? We know mainly we cover technical analysis on this channel. Sometimes we do cover fundamentals. So if you do want to see more fundamental stuff in the technical analysis videos, I will start adding, 1 to 2 to 3 or even 4 minutes worth of news each video if there is obviously that much to cover. But look, right? This coin has a very, very, very unique price action. We can see when this coin kind of just started out, right? Boom, kind of instant dump. We could see, to be fair, it was kind of coming in at the worst point of the markets back in 2024, right before things kind of sold off. So, it happens. That's why timings are important, especially for new projects. But luckily for this coin, that was just, the start of the bull run, right? Not necessarily start of altcoin season, because once altcoin season starts and then it stops, that is when, the tokens actually just die until next cycle. So yeah, but look, right, it does have very, very unique structure. We can see we have been overall consolidating for months. We have had created multiple high points over here, roughly at the, if we just take the general area, right, roughly upwards of 0.00149, so 1.5, right? We can see multiple tops, and then of course we just consolidated practically since, I would say, mid-June upwards of, I would say, early February, early to mid-February, right? After this point, boom, we start to break out. And then again, we actually drop back down, consolidated, and then we officially started to break out. So what is happening with this coin? What do I see from a technical analysis point? Well, it's very, very simple, right? First of all, let's start from the beginning. We have a massive support zone all the way down at 0.00082 area, right? This general green box is a big, nice support zone. So obviously, if you've been buying this token accumulating here, you are up a good amount. If we just take the average somewhere in between, right, you are up 127%. At one point, you would have been up even 161%. So congratulations to you if you do hold this coin. Look, so we can see we've had multiple tops, right? We've had multiple tops, and we mainly have been going sideways for a very, very long time, right? Almost upwards of a year. We can see we took out these tops, right? We liquidated, we had the huge price, and then we broke structure back to the downside. So all this money that was chilling over here, we took it out. But there was also another purpose for the pump. The reason why we also pumped is because we are actually technically in hell. This is what I call hell, right? So hell is when you kind of go below your current support zone, right? And at the time, this was the current support zone. And then you kind of go into price discovery mode, but backwards, right? Because you're going down and you don't know how low you're going to go until you have a lot of data presented in front of you. So, right, it's never ideal for a token, but I've seen tokens come out of this, right? We've seen something like, let's say, with Solana, right? If I show you Solana very, very quickly, we've seen the rise of Solana back in 2023, 2024, right? It was technically in hell, in my opinion. We were below massive, massive support zones at this point, right? But still, you could have got it if you took the risk. You could have got it between $8 and let's just say $22 on average. So yeah, I mean, it was not looking good, right? It was not looking ideal, especially at this point over here. When we were here, right, it was not looking ideal. People thought Solana is done for and might go back to $2. So, there's been times where this coins recovered from hell, right? I would have considered hell for Solana below $25. Boom, accumulated, then eventually rose up. And now, of course, the rest is history with this coin. Okay. But yeah, let's go back to the coin we're covering today, right? Hell, like I said, you can get out of it. Not the most impossible. Just the token itself has to be good. But of course, there's going to be some type of special, technical analysis and price action that happens. So we can see, right, we created all this manipulation. We created all these highs over here because there's money, right? When there's orders here to take out, you're able to pump price really, really fast. We pumped it. We were not able to break above these the support zone, which is now currently resistance. Then we failed. We went all the way back down, all the way back down to the bottoms of this big support zone. And now again, we are attempting it. Now, I do think we will have way more success because not only have we tried to break out of it once before, but when we look at the actual weekly candles, we can see, right? Boom, if we go to the wick, we could see that we were actually below this rectangular box when we closed, right? We could see at one point we were above, right? When we look at the big wick over here, the big rejection, we were above, but we closed below the big zone. And then that's when we got the sell-off, right? This time around, we actually closed, starting above this green box, right? The bottom of the green box, we actually closed above it. So we closed above a lot of price action. And we can see just how big this weekly candle really is, right? This is the biggest candle we've had in all of this coin's cycle, in all of this coin's lifetime. And we can see the next weekly candle, the current red one, is very, very weak and is actually more of a support type of zone at this current moment before it attempts to break higher. Now, I will say, right, in terms of the technical analysis, let's just do this for now for the actual highs. Let's get this box out of here. We can see that, yes, okay, we do have a high, but we are creating a lower high already. So, it could be very well be some bearish movement coming in. We either will be looking to be bouncing off the 0.00164, or ladies and gentlemen, if we do get a bigger pullback, which would probably be with the help of Bitcoin and some other coins, we could be looking for great purchases over here down a little bit lower at 0.00147. Now, this is what I would consider a sniper entry at this point, is down here, okay, because of the context of the market. I don't think we're going to get sniper entries down here. We've had that time for roughly a year, right? If you're looking at this coin for a year now, if you knew about it before, then it's like, hey, you've had all this time in the world, right? You got to make the most out of your opportunity. Sometimes just pull the trigger. And we can see we most likely won't be getting that type of pullback. But even just in terms of the Fibonacci, right? Usually when there's a lot of bullish momentum, you will get a little bit of a pullback, roughly, to the 3.38 zone, which is right where the first rectangular box is, or even sometimes down a 50% retracement before we officially shoot up, which is, like I said, pretty much on top of our other support zones. So these are the two support zones I would be looking for to accumulate a lot. I did buy a bag today. In case we do not form, right? In case we do not form lower lows, because right now we are forming a little bit of a lower high, especially on the daily. But if we do respect this daily candle over here and then we close above here, then there's a good chance that we will push up, right? It's just very simple. We just have to be patient. We have to be looking. But yeah, that is overall it. Like I said, if we do start pulling back down to certain other levels, then yes, I will be looking to be buying roughly over here and once again over here, okay? And of course, we will cover what's next for this coin. Look, in terms of the analysis, people, right? It's very, very simple. We are just looking to be going above this green zone. Once we consolidate and hold it, the next big level will be the highs, right? That is it, right? When we look at the point A to point Z, we are looking at it from a very simple, sure, there could be a little bit of a wick, some kind of daily order block candle there, maybe a little bit of a sell-off, but overall, right, once we do what we have to do with this coin, whether it's a little bit of a pullback or not, consolidate, the next big move is to take out the highs, probably get a little bit of a pullback, right? Because just classic manipulation usually once we get and we take out a high point, usually just doesn't start pumping right away. Usually goes back down a little bit because, the markets don't want people to necessarily get free, easy wins. But then we will start going up. Now, how high can this coin go? Well, in terms of market cap and for what this project is, it actually could go into the billions of market cap, right? This coin could go upwards of even 10 billion market cap, which would be very, very high, right? Roughly a 75x from here, which would be fantastic, right? It would be super, super fantastic. I think that is very, very possible. Some people are comparing it to Ondo. Now, I don't think it is like Ondo. I think Ondo's much better and has BlackRock and JP Morgan behind it. But But I know Ondo is going to go to billions of market cap, at least 35 to 45 billion, if not even higher. So something like this project, which is really, really good and doing well, especially that's in the real world asset class, and they want to be paying people out every second, even, and they have a very solid team, and like I said, they have a very strong narrative, like the real world asset class. So they will be doing well this cycle. I truly, truly do believe. We also are not listed on too many exchanges. So, once that starts happening, we can get a lot of momentum. But yeah, 75x is probably my top of the top price prediction. Obviously, that is already starting to push a little bit of the boundaries, but you sometimes have to think that way. I do think this project will do very, very good. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.